everyone, and welcome to another of our Countdown to the Fintech Talents Festival video. I'm Lisa Moyle, Director of Strategy at VC Innovations, and today, as the excitement in the build-up to the festival is growing, we are delighted to have with us Alex Reddish, who is Managing Director at Tribe Payments. Hello, Alex.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here too.
Fantastic to have you. So can we start, Alex, with you telling us a little bit about you and your role at Tribe?
Yeah, so I'm predominantly responsible for everything go-to-market with Tribe. Been in the business for 3 years, so started out looking after just our commercial function, but I've kind of grown into a more leadership role over the past 6 months. Tribe as a business is 3 years old, predominantly focused on the sort of orchestration layer of payments. So we try and enable fintechs, acquirers, banks across both issuing and acquiring services. And I think we're really just getting started as a business, but yeah.
Exciting. So let's start. Embedded finance certainly seems to be having a bit of a moment. And can you share with us, give it some texture? What does that mean for the industry, and how do you see Tribe's role in this evolving landscape?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because it's not a new product. I think what we're doing is becoming more aware of the last mile of an experience or the sale of a product or service, and we're starting to categorize that and identify with that individually. I think you look at someone like Squire in the US, they're not a 2021 creative business, but they're vertically focusing on how they service the barbershop and how they deliver an embedded experience throughout that process. I think what we're finding now is that through pandemics, through digitization, everyone's focusing on how they deliver a contextual experience throughout the process. So whether that be in store, whether that be online, you as a brand want to deliver the same experience and value proposition, irrespective of where that customer is on the journey. So I think what we're finding with embedded finance now is that principle of how to deliver innovation, or what we all know as fintech, around convenience and data centricity and things like that. I think we're now just seeing that in non-fintech companies.
That's really interesting. And picking up what you were, that point around convergence and the ways in which payments and other financial services are becoming embedded by non-financial enterprises. Can you share your view on the role of partnerships in that kind of ecosystem? And, to pick up the phrase that everyone seems to be using at the moment, are we all fintechs now?
There's but two very separate questions. There's a very good podcast by Angela Strange on everyone becoming a fintech, I think. So that's worth a watch. But I think everyone is becoming a fintech in their attitude. I think there's still a long way to go before everyone could consider them a fintech in their delivery, perhaps. But I think from the focus of non-financial services companies becoming fintechs and identifying with payments, I definitely think there is a growing trend of businesses focusing on how payments or this. I guess I'm reiterating the last point, but how the financial service element of their product can be valuable. I think everyone can become a fintech, but I think that's a slightly different question in the sense of how people will want to play in a role of data aggregation and financial services provisioning, as they start to want to look at how to add value beyond their core product and service. So I think they're slightly separate questions. I think everyone will look to become a fintech. I think we've got a long way to go, but I do think non-financial services companies are very much taking the principles of what fintech is and applying them to their business.
That's really interesting. And maybe you could just share with us a couple thoughts on what that means for the end customer. Is it just about convenience? Is it about financial inclusion? What are some of the benefits to the end customer, the end user?
Well, I think they have a number of opportunities. I think one is around a personalized experience, irrespective of where you are. I expect a brand to identify with me, whether I'm on my laptop, whether I'm in store. And I think starting to have that sort of individual identity when I'm performing these actions, whether it's purchasing a good or shopping for a product or service, I think that's obviously going to be a benefit. When we take what convenience means to a consumer, it's not just about being quick and efficient. It's about if I've consented to give you my data, I want you to be smart with it. I don't want you to just send me a marketing email every week. And I think the expectation of the deliverable has grown. I don't expect someone to just offer me free delivery on my Amazon Prime anymore. Now I expect them to understand what I want and why I want it. And if I'm buying nappies, for example, then perhaps I need the wipes. And that evolution of understanding of what I am as a buyer persona and therefore delivering me value is extremely important. I would hope that we can bring some of the focus on security into that sort of environment. I think if you look at how non-financial services businesses could learn from that, I think there's great opportunity. But also, I think we're ultimately just putting a higher barrier to entry for expectations. So the need to deliver the consumer a better service through product and through interaction, and ultimately, therefore, making that sort of payment surreptitiously invisible through the nice to haves is going to be the way in which the consumer wins.
Great, thanks for that. Well, you've shared a lot or given us a taste of what you'll be speaking about at the FinTech Talents Festival on the 15th and 16th of November. It'll be great to meet you live. But I just wanted to ask you one more question. So, Try will be running a cocktail evening at the festival, which we're all looking forward to. Can you tell us what is your go-to tipple, and are you skilled with a cocktail shaker?
Um, Goodness me, it depends. An espresso martini, but as we were talking before this, I've got young children, so anything caffeinated always helps, irrelevant at the time of day. Am I skilled with a cocktail shake? I guess we'll have to find out. Honestly, it'll be a learning exercise for all of us.
Brilliant. Well, I hope we'll be putting you to the test at the festival. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to everyone watching. We look forward to seeing more of Alex and the team at the festival. And thank you again.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to seeing you soon.